Feels like my new shirt.
Venom.
Oh yeah, I do.
It looks
actually.
beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a XXL. I haven't fit in a XXL in like 2.5 years.
Dude,
Nice. I'm kind of in the
good
same
feeling.
place where I finally fit into XLs now. It's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that I've had for years, and I finally fit in them.
Nice. Yeah, I've had some.
Are we
clothes
live
that I
right
just-
now?
Yeah, we're live now.
Oh, boobs.
Oh, Lance. All right. Well, Breaker Crunchers, welcome to issue 51 of Couch Crunchers, where we are on the feminist train with Captain Marvel, and we'll tell you what we think about it later. With me, or I am Max the Gamer Guy, and with me we have got
Lance, the series sergeant.
and
Tyler, Captain Awesome.
Cool. Welcome to the podcast, everybody. We're going to have so much fun times today. Many very fun times. Also, you might hear some race car sounds in the back for Lance. He has put a racetrack in his house for some reason. I don't know.
Yep, a full-blown racetrack with Lightning McQueens and everything.
Indeed. All right. Or as one of my foster kids used to say, Lightning Matrine. Anyway, as usual, we're going to start off with Fab or Flub. And this week, there's a few things to go over. We're going to try not to talk as much Fab or Flub as last time, though, because we didn't get to talk about Alita hardly.
It's like the whole episode, wasn't it?
And it was a great episode, but yeah. All right. So if you don't know what Fab or Flub is, it's a segment where we read off some headlines and we discuss whether or not we think they are fabulous or
Flubulous.
Fabulous. I like how you sing it, Lance. It's so nice. All right. So first off, this is going to be happy news or sad news, depending on how you feel about the Arrowverse. But Arrow is officially ending next season with season 8, and its final season will be 10 episodes. What do we think?
I think that's totally fine. I'm jumping in, Lance. Sorry. I think it's a fab. I think it would have been fine if it ended this season, honestly.
But I stopped watching since the winter break since they've come back from winter break. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah,
I didn't watch last season.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of been like Bilbo Baggins, you know, like a little bit of butter spread over too much bread. You know, like they're just trying to like milk it as much as they can, and it's not working. You know, they need to end it.
Yeah. I think it's done, and I think I don't think Arrow is like a terrible show, but it's I think they're going to go out on a high note by going out on their own terms like this, and I think it's really cool. So it's a fab for me as well.
It lost a lot of its luster, I guess. Like when it first came out, it was new, it was gritty, you know, and now it's just kind of like they're trying to like repeat the same formula over and over again. And when he stopped having his flashbacks of originally being on the island and then came back, and they had one good season in the middle there that I forget what it was, but
it wasn't last season, but
part,
the season before, season 5 was amazing.
Yeah, it was
With
really
Prometheus,
good.
It was great.
And he finds out he has a son, I think.
Yeah.
Is that the same season?
Well, he knew it. I don't remember if he knew or not. I think he knew since like season 3, but Felicity, I think, found out that season.
But as soon as like Roy Harper left and like they started doing this new team with like Mr. Fantastic. Is it Mr. Fantastic? What's that guy's name?
Mr. Terrific or something, or
Mr. Terrific.
Mr.
It
Terrible.
just got really lame. And it's a shame because the guy that plays what's the one guy, his code name has something dog, like not like rough dog or naughty dog.
We know who you're talking about.
Oh, Wild Dog.
Wild Dog. Okay, so that actor, and his name escapes me right now, was in a show called Reaper that was on the CW a few years ago. That was a fantastic show. It had Tyler Labine and a few other guys in it. It was a fantastic show. So I was really excited when he got cast for Arrow, and it's just kind of been a letdown. Like,
yeah.
I didn't watch last season. Like, it had nothing that interests me. I didn't watch any of the shows last season. And I tried to get myself psyched up to watch Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow. Did that start this season, Max, right?
I think he guested last season, but yeah, officially this season.
And I didn't even watch those. Like I couldn't even get myself excited to watch those. It just
so
when they put Constant, it's fab. They should cancel it all.
Yeah, Flash isn't that good anymore either. It's I would think I was saying a few episodes ago, I would kind of be fine with if all they did was just the crossovers every single year. And does someone have something coming through their speakers, the audio?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Well, because I can hear myself coming back in my headphones as if it's going through someone's mic. Are you?
No?
No? All right, maybe I'm just reverbing for internet ping or something. All right, anyway. So it looks like we're kind of on a consensus that it's fab. It's time to end the whole Arrowverse. But
I think they're not going to. I think it's cool to do your idea, like just do a mini series every throw all these characters into one 10 episode arc once a year or do something with Netflix where it's make the seasons more monumental than filling it with a whole bunch of CW fillers. 22 episodes and half of them are about nothing,
and their decisions just don't make any sense. Constantine failed with his own show, so they decided to put it on the worst CW show. That's gonna make Constantine better. I think most people liked him when he was on Arrow. He had his little
that was great. His one or two episodes.
Yeah, where he brings
Thea back.
Is it Thea? I thought he brought Sarah Lance back.
I thought it was
he brought
Thea.
Sarah Lance, but no, he brought Sarah Lance back.
You're right.
Yeah.
It's DC. So many people dying to back the line.
His arc on Arrow was fantastic, but did you watch his NBC show, Tyler?
I did, yeah. I was kind of half paying attention to it. I enjoyed it from what I saw. I'm trying to remember a lot about it. I know he had some angel that he had a feud with and everything. But I like that actor. I enjoyed it from what I did watch of it. But I was kind of engaged in other things when I was watching it usually.
Yeah. He's the voice of Constantine in Justice League Dark, isn't he?
I think so.
Yeah. Yes, there's also a CW Seed, I think they call it, show.
The animated one?
That he's the voice of, and that thing is fantastic. I love it so much. All the CW Seed DC shows that they've done are really well done.
That's good.
As good as their animated movies.
Really?
The DC animated movies. Oh the Constantine one. And then I can't remember the other one, but it's about a superhero and he is gay. I can't remember his name, but he's in an alternate dimension. He assumes the identity of his not alter ego, his alternate universe person that was a superhero. He assumes that identity and becomes that superhero, and in that guy's world, and it's pretty cool. But I can't remember the name of it. But there's two CW DC shows that are really good. CW Seed, they call it.
Good to know. Yeah. Well, in other DC news, this one's going to be a twofer, but Joel Kinnaman, so Captain Rick Flag, will not be returning as Rick Flag in the Suicide Squad sequel, and Idris Elba will be the new Deadshot, with Will Smith not returning as Deadshot.
So are they rebooting it?
From what we haven't heard that yet. My understanding is no. It's a sequel, but Will Smith, due to scheduling, he said isn't coming back, and Joel Kinnaman isn't coming back either. I don't know if that means they're recasting Rick Flag or if the character's just not going to be there, but that's currently what we know. And it's official that Idris Elba will be Deadshot.
Will Smith couldn't find it in his schedule to play a character that nobody liked him playing.
That's not true. I think a lot of people liked Deadshot.
I like the guy from Arrow better in that role.
Did you?
Yeah. I don't remember the actor's name. He was all right. I mean, it didn't seem like he did a whole lot. It seemed like that movie was Harley Quinn featuring the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty much.
It was a messy movie.
Yeah.
But hey, man, with James Gunn
Diablo
kind of
was
like
fantastic.
writing it and everything,
Yeah,
with James Gunn doing the sequel, it should be pretty awesome.
I hope it's good. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope he directs it.
Diablo was fantastic in that. I loved Diablo.
Yeah, I agree. So from my perspective, I'm going to say Fab. I think Idris Elba as Deadshot's a cool choice. And that's another reason I don't think that they're like rebooting it. I think it's supposed to be the same character. That's why they chose another black actor for Deadshot. And Idris Elba, I think, is awesome. He's a great actor.
Yeah. Well, he is awesome. I just hope that they write it well enough. Like you say, James Gunn's doing it. So, but I hope that they make his character match, the quality of actor that they have for him, because if they just kind of if he doesn't have good writing, then there's not really much he can do. But bringing him in there, I feel like they're going to focus on him more.
I think he's going to be the main character.
That they're paying him a ton, so I think they will do that.
I think he's the main character because I'm pretty sure that Margot Robbie's not coming back either.
What?
I'm pretty sure I saw that Margot Robbie's not coming back for the Suicide Squad 2.
Well, then they had to do something drastic because she stole the show last.
She was the best, but I mean, she's coming out in Birds of Prey, so it's not like she's going to be gone.
Yeah.
You guys hear the engines have started. Gentlemen, start your engines. No, we're having some construction done on our house, so that's what that is.
Okay, there's just rumors about Harley Quinn. Nothing's confirmed. Literally, I googled Margot Robbie Suicide Squad 2, and on February 16th, there's an article, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn might not return for Suicide Squad 2. And then the day before, Harley Quinn will be in Suicide Squad 2 after all. It's just all over the place. So it looks like it's an unknown with her. But I would be very surprised if Idris Elba wasn't at least dual main character in that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the writing for these DC movies is improving. So with Wonder Woman and Aquaman, and I hear Shazam is fantastic.
It looks great, dude. I'm so excited. Yeah. That new trailer is dope.
So honestly, I haven't watched the new trailer. I've been so busy with school that I haven't watched it. I need to watch it.
Oh man.
I just saw it before Captain Marvel yesterday.
Me too, yeah. It was yeah.
It played during Captain Marvel?
For me and Tyler, yeah.
Oh yeah, they only played Disney previews for us. We had one for Avengers, we had one for I don't remember, but it was all
I didn't even get an Avengers one. That's funny.
Yeah, it was all Disney movies.
Well, at any rate, it sounds like we're kind of mixed on this one. Kind of Fab, kind of Flub, kind of what's going on with this movie in the first place. Another movie that I am just confused by what in the world is going on is, I guess, a female reboot of Rush Hour is in the works.
I think I remember hearing about that.
I did see a headline about it. I just kind of scrolled past it because
I just want to say Flub.
Why?
Why is because... Oh, wow. We got quite a few people on our chat right now. Hey, all.
All right. So why do you think that's flub?
Why do I think it's flub? I don't have any problem with female-led movies. I just think that they're starting this trend of forcing it into female-led movies when just cast good characters. If that means that the two characters happen to be female, fine. It seems like it's forced. Ghostbusters female reboot didn't turn out to be good. I felt like it was a forced thing. And I feel like that's the same idea with Rush Hour. That's why I'm kind of a flub on it. That's mostly why. But to be fair, it's Chris Rock, right? And Jackie Chan. How are you going to make it any better than those two?
Well, the thing is, it's just if you want to have female-led movies, like you said, just make something original. Why do you have to remake something? I feel like you're forcing it at that point.
Just make a good movie. Wonder Woman was a great movie.
Yeah, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, and it wasn't a reboot of something or I agree. I have to invoke the name of Bridesmaids and Pitch Perfect as perfect examples of original ideas that were female-led casts that did really well.
I didn't see Bridesmaids, but Pitch Perfect was good. Yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, and it was even a little bit girly, and I still liked it, you know?
Yeah, no, I do like those movies. You need to watch Bridesmaids, dude. It is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's
I haven't seen
I'll
it.
check it out.
But yeah, again, that's the thing. Like, you can have these great movies that are funny and female led. But yeah, make something original. Don't try to reboot something that already has all this nostalgia. Because I don't care if you're rebooting it with 2 male characters for Rush Hour. The expectations are just so high.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Rebooting is already dangerous as it is.
Yeah.
So,
well, they tried to reboot Overboard with the original had Kurt Russell and Goldie Hawn, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and they tried to do it with
one.
Yeah, they gender swapped it, which I love. The Latino actor, I can't remember.
I can't remember his name either. But I liked that movie. I thought it was good, but I haven't.
But
seen
it's
the
not
original.
as good as the original. Not anywhere near. And Anna Faris is just not that great of an actress to begin with. So that might be part of the reason.
I thought it was.
But
really
I
funny.
love him. But yeah, they keep rebooting these shows, and has there been like one successful one that they've reboot with a gender swap? I can't think of any.
I don't know.
So why do they keep doing it? I mean, maybe Ocean's 8, was that successful?
I don't think it was successful. I liked that one though, but I don't think it was.
I haven't even watched
it. It's good. It's not as good as the originals, but it's good.
It was kind of stale in my opinion. Like the reason why is because the ending was like in like Ocean's 11, the ending like culminated everything and kind of surprised you, and like
it was a twist.
You know, it was like a twist, and it made everything come together, and you kind of were like, how are they going to get out of this? Whereas in Ocean's 8, it was kind of just like they tried to do the same format, but it ended up just coming out as we're just telling you everything that happened rather than like we're creating a mystery and then you see what happened later and it's like surprising. Like there was nothing surprising about it. It was just felt like somebody going back and telling a story, almost like a narrator almost. So it was it just didn't have the same effect.
It wasn't well fleshed out.
Yeah, just kind of stale.
I just you know, we don't like to get super political on our show. I don't like this idea of forcing a certain gender into a role. Just cast a good role and do a good movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't care if they're female, male. I don't care what ethnicity they are. Just cast the best person for that role. I think Pitch Perfect did that really well. I think Bridesmaids did that really well. Like,
well, it's like,
you know,
like the casting of Aquaman. Jason Momoa is great, but in the comics, Aquaman is generally just this white dude, whereas Jason Momoa is, you know, Samoan. So I think he's, you know, the character is half Samoan, half white, and in the movies, you know what I mean. And I didn't even think about that really until recently. I was like, oh yeah, I guess he's technically not a white dude, because I keep hearing on all these other podcasts, you know, about just another white character, and so I was like, oh wait, Aquaman isn't. Anyway, not trying to get political here. I just
no, I agree with you. I mean, you don't hear me once being upset about Deadshot and how they flipped his race. You know, like he's always been traditionally a white guy. I don't care. I really don't. Will Smith, I thought was decent. I think Idris Elba is going to be fantastic. I'm fine with it. Or, you know, there's been a lot of talk about having Idris Elba as the next James Bond. Great. Do it. Yeah. Like, I think he'd be fantastic.
He said no on that, but yeah, I'd be fine with him too. That's fine.
I do like the idea of Tom Hiddleston as that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. Well, and James Bond is just a character that, like, sorry, excuse me. That doesn't matter. Like, James Bond, his race doesn't matter. I think it'd be weird if all of a sudden you did Jane Bond. You know, like James Bond is, you know, he's a womanizer, you know, things like that. But have an Indian James Bond. I don't care. You know what I mean? So long as it's good. Anyway, let's move on to the next Fab or Flub. I don't know if you're going to be able to contribute to this one or not, Lance, but feel free to make fun of us for Lord of the Rings fandom.
Oh my gosh.
Lord of the Rings Amazon series has been confirmed to be set in the Second Age, which, if for the uninitiated, is
nerds.
Going to be well before...
Bunch of nerds. A bunch of nerds.
Shut up. It's going to be well before the Lord of the Rings movies. The Second Age is when the ring is forged. All the rings are forged, actually. So I'm just going to say
wait. There's more than one ring?
Yes.
There's more than one?
There's one ring to rule them all, and there was, 12, right? 12 rings of power?
Oh, my gosh.
Well, there were
9.
Three, well, there
were 9 for men.
Yeah, 9 for men, 3 for the dwarves. I think it was either 5 or 7 for the elves, and then 9 for the men. I think it was 5 for the elves.
Okay. I could just see Lance grinning over there making fun of us. Anyway, I think it's cool. I think that's a good time period. I really didn't want it to be just like 10 years before Fellowship or anything like that. I really wanted something fresh. Just like with Star Wars, I keep saying, why don't you give us the Old Republic? You know what I mean? 3 for elves. The Grizzled Geek is in here. They corrected us. So 3 rings for the elves. Thank you, Grizzled Geek.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad. You're right.
But yeah, I'm excited to have this time period. What do you think, Tyler?
I think it's great. One of the things that I was a little bit concerned about is if they did something closer to the Lord of the Rings time period, they would have probably needed to incorporate more characters from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, in which case they would either have to recast more characters or try and make some of the characters look younger. And I didn't want to see too much of that. You know what I mean? So they might still do a little bit of that with the a couple of elvish characters, but I don't feel like they'll run into too many of those continuity issues that you would see otherwise.
Well, because like even in The Hobbit, like Orlando Bloom looks 10 years older. Like they tried to de-age him for the movie, but he doesn't look. It was fine. Like I liked his character being in there, but he did not look as good as he did in the original Lord of the Rings.
Right, and now it's been 20 years almost. Yeah,
they should have got the guy that does the
right.
Marvel movie. They should have got that guy that does the aging in the Marvel movies because those are fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't think Coulson looked that good, honestly. In this,
no, Coulson did look.
He looked weird.
Did a great job with Fury.
Fury looked awesome.
But yeah, Coulson.
So Michael Douglas and Ant-Man looks awesome.
It's true. It's
true. Yeah. No, I mean, but at the same time, it's like you don't want like a ton of characters having that done, like because it still doesn't look totally natural, and like
and I don't want the budget put there.
Yeah, like if half of the cast is like, looking like that, then it's gonna look weird, Like obviously it wouldn't be that much, but
what are you talking about budget, Max? It's Amazon.
They still have a budget, even if it's like $1 million per episode.
They could pay one of those actors to wipe their ass if they wanted to. Like, I think they're okay.
I mean, they have plenty of money, but they still budget certain amounts for these things.
Isn't Bezos like worth like $4 billion or something ridiculous?
I don't even know what that is.
Isn't Jeff Bezos the owner of Amazon?
I didn't know. I heard Bezos and I was like, is this another company that I'm not familiar with?
No, their owner's worth like multiple billion.
I'm sure ridiculous. It's just like Google. Google is worth tons of money, but corporations care about money. So if they think that putting $4 million into this project isn't going to return $8 million, they're not going to do it.
So Lord of the Rings was a huge financial success, right?
Oh,
and a huge critical success. Mm-hmm. But Hobbit wasn't as much, correct?
It was still successful, but not as much.
But not like Lord of the Rings. So why do you think that they think a TV show? Like, I don't understand why they're doing it.
Because there's a huge fan base. I mean, you're excited for it, aren't you, Tyler?
Oh, yeah, I'm totally excited for it. Yeah,
it's my most anticipated TV show that's coming out in forever. Like, I can't wait.
Well, you got to think
more than the Star Wars one?
Currently, yes. I worry that Star Wars ones won't be done well live action as a TV show.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think, man, like when I was in New Zealand, like even the places that were off the beaten path that like none of the tours went to, almost every time I went to those places, there were other people there looking to get pictures at the locations where Lord of the Rings was filmed 20 years ago. Like there's a huge fan base all around the world, and Amazon wants to bring those people in for their streaming service because
they're making a Tolkien movie about his life. So it's
a good time to do it.
Yeah, it comes out this year. Yeah, it's a huge fan base. So that's why. Why are they making more Harry Potter movies? People are paying to go see them. So Lord of the Rings TV show.
But the two that have come out haven't been critical successes.
No, but they're making enough money that they're going to keep going.
See,
it's money, dude. It's all money.
Like if I was a content creator, like what they are, my fear was if I make enough of these things that it's going to kind of tarnish the original.
I don't
series.
disagree, but like at this rate, we've had 2001 was Fellowship of the Ring, and I think was it 2004 when the Return of the King came out, something like that, early 2000s, and then The Hobbit was the early 2010s, and this Amazon series isn't going to come out until like 2020. So we're looking at like a decade in between each of these. So I think that's plenty of time to really allow the fan base to want more.
But do you think that Star Wars is getting kind of watered down a little bit? Because see that would be my fear as a fan. That would be my fear. Like, are they doing too much? Sometimes too little is perfect. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think that one project over 10 years is not too much.
Yeah.
Star Wars is different. They were releasing one every single year, and I'm not tired of Star Wars. I've enjoyed all of the movies, including Solo and The Last Jedi. Like, I've enjoyed all of them. But
they've made a larger fan out of me. They made those new movies made a fan out of me because that I'm not much into the fantasy element that Star Wars and Lord of the Rings has, and those new movies made me like the old ones. Like we've had this conversation before, you and I. But for most of the fans, it seems like they're getting burnt out.
Well, the way that I see it is like, even when the Hobbit trilogy came out, and I was pretty disappointed in the trilogy. It didn't tarnish Lord of the Rings for me at all. Even though those are totally like, way more related.
Yeah.
And so I think that, even though these have a connection through the rings, being in a completely different age of time is going to have even a less effect on the Lord of the Rings trilogy for me. So I think a lot of people are the same way.
Another thing that the Grizzled Geek is awesome. You guys should stay on the whole show. They just pointed out that this isn't being done by New Line. I knew Amazon was involved, but the Tolkien estate is working with Amazon on this. So it's going to be different in that regard, and I think that's really exciting. I think that's really cool.
So the production studio that did the movies is not involved in this at all?
As far as I understand. If you want to chime in there in the chat, Grizzled Geek, feel free to let us know. I didn't know this before. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what's our next Fab or Flub?
Yeah, let's move on. Actually, I think that's going to do it for Fab or Flub. All right, so not that the Grizzled Geek knows of. So anyway, that's going to do it for Fab or Flub. Have you guys seen, though, the new Dark Phoenix trailer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. I thought it'd be good to just chat about it. I guess we can call that a Fab or Flub. What did you guys think about the new Dark Phoenix trailer?
Not much of anything.
Really? I'm still not amped for that movie by any means, but I'm more excited than I was. I just thought it looked like a dumpster fire originally, and now I'm like, all right, it looks like it could be all right. Grizzled Geek, I don't care.
For me, it kind of felt like they know that a lot of people are not excited about it, and they're trying really, really hard to make it feel like it's just, really action-packed and intense. and so they're trying really hard to amp up the trailers. I feel like,
yeah.
And so
Mystique looks terrible, by the way.
What's that?
The
Mystique.
What looks terrible?
Mystique. She looks awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't even look that blue anymore.
I know. That's what I mean. Anyway.
I don't know.
I
feel like I felt like it was just trying real hard, and it didn't really succeed in my opinion.
Well, because I think that everybody involved and all the fans and everybody know that this is it. This is the last one. The Brazil, the last hurdle that Disney and Fox had to come over was the Brazil Trade Commission or whatever they call it, and they passed that because they asked them to like divulge some sports stuff or diversify a little bit and sell some of the sports IP that Disney was obtaining from Fox, and they passed that. They agreed to sell those sports channels in Brazil, and that was like the last nail in the coffin for Fox, you know. So everybody involved knows that Dark Phoenix happens, and that's it. You know,
Yeah.
the whole thing's going to be rebooted. So how do you get somebody excited over something that they know is going to be an open-ended? It's not going to be a final ending. Like, how do you get somebody excited over that? Because I'm not.
I think it could be a final ending, though. You know?
Really? I mean...
I'm not saying that I'm so excited about it, but because it's their last movie, maybe they can put a little bow on the end.
I mean, they're going to finalize it somehow. I mean, but is it going to be good?
Weird. Directed by the same guy who wrote X-Men 3. Oh.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is like, I feel like they came out and they were like, nobody really liked X-Men 3, even though it might have made a lot of money. Nobody ended up really liking it. And so we're going to get some younger actors and a less attractive Jean Grey, and like we'll see how it goes. You know, like
Jean Grey sucks. Sophie Turner is fine on Game of Thrones, but she is so bad as Jean.
She's horrible.
I don't like her at all. And I like Tyler Sheridan in Ready Player One, but I don't like him as Cyclops. Nicholas Hoult is great. Fassbender is great. And what's his name?
McAvoy.
James McAvoy. Those three are all awesome. Nicholas Hoult being the Beast, if you don't know that. And he's also playing Tolkien in the Tolkien movie. But like those three people are awesome. And Jennifer Lawrence used to be awesome, but I'm less excited now. But otherwise, I'm just like, I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even like Nicholas Hoult really as Beast.
Really?
I still think Kelsey Grammer is the best Beast we've ever had on camera.
Kelsey Grammer was awesome.
Like he
was a shining point.
He basically was Frasier, but with fur. Like it was perfect. Like it was perfect in every way. But no, I'm not excited about it because for one, yeah, if they do end it, whatever. But it feels weird to be ending on something that is supposed to be a high note. Like it feels weird. Like Dark Phoenix, that storyline is one of the biggest X-Men storylines ever. It's like if Avengers Infinity War was the end. You know what I mean? And nothing came after it.
That would suck.
It just feels weird to be ending like that. It's just, and it seems way too big of a storyline to do in just one movie, Dark Phoenix. And this is the second time we're getting it because The Last Stand was basically Dark Phoenix. And I don't know.
Well, and on top of that, Lance, it's like, why do they even say Dark Phoenix? We never see a good Phoenix. So why are they even specifying Dark Phoenix? Because Phoenix is just inherently evil in the movies. Like, because there is no good Phoenix. Like, there's no reason to call it Dark Phoenix. Like, so they didn't even...
Weird.
I think the comic is Dark Phoenix. That's why.
Well, yeah.
I've never heard Dark Phoenix before. I've heard Phoenix.
Well, no, they do refer to it as Dark Phoenix in the comics, but the thing is, they call it Dark Phoenix because Phoenix went dark. Like, you know, it used to be good, and now it's Dark Phoenix because it's evil. You know, and they don't build up that character in the right way. They don't. You know.
Well, dark always means bad. Dark Knight. Wait, nope, never mind.
So it's just like, what are you doing with this? You're not building the character to even portray it in the right way, and you're making 2 movies about it when nobody even really liked the first one. It doesn't make any sense.
I think it could be done really well. It's just Fox has never really put any real effort into these movies. I mean, Days of Future Past was good, but it shouldn't have been. Like, the whole point of Days of Future Past was to have a movie with the old guys and the new guys and kind of have this like time merging thing happen. It shouldn't have been a good movie, and it turned out to be a good movie.
Oh, and yeah, Logan, it was great. It was great.
Logan was good because they said, F everything we've done. This is the movie we want to make, and Fox didn't get involved. That's why Logan was good. But Fox, as a movie production studio, has not put the time and energy into these movies that they should, and it's just gonna suck. I mean, I don't know, man.
I'm still holding out.
You're right. The original comics were called the Dark Phoenix Saga, and I forgot about that. But they refer to her as Phoenix. I never hear them refer to her as Dark Phoenix.
I mean, I remember. Yeah. Same. I'm just giving you guys crap for nitpicking that it's called Dark Phoenix. Who cares?
It's weird. I don't know.
Well, the only reason it matters is because the way that the character is being portrayed as just like an evil alter ego, rather than like an actual being that protects the universe. You know, It's a completely altered story, and the fact that they're calling it Dark Phoenix when they never had a Light Phoenix is showing their lack of preparation in the story. It's just
I feel like the only involvement, the only thing that they've told us so far about the Phoenix entity, right, is at the end of Apocalypse, when she defeats Apocalypse, right? Yeah, at the end, and it has that big bird come out. But I don't feel like Jean Grey in this new iteration of X-Men has been progressed enough to get to this point. Like, it still feels like
her character hasn't been developed at all. Well, no. I think we're all agreeing that it's really not that exciting. So let's talk about our main point here, Captain Marvel. You guys ready to move on to Captain Marvel?
I didn't think that came out yet. Isn't that Zachary Levi? That Captain Marvel? No.
That is a different Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. They've just lived to confuse us, don't they?
Yeah, I had a discussion with my coworker about this. She was like, I'm so confused. What's going on here? I was like, are you confused because DC had a character called Captain Marvel, or what's going on? And she's like, yeah, that's right. Yeah, there was a DC character named Captain Marvel. I'm like, yeah, the movie about him is called Shazam, and that comes out in 3 weeks. She's like, wait. So a movie about Captain Marvel and then a movie about Captain Marvel are coming out in a month within each other from different companies? Like, yep, that's exactly right.
I wonder, do you think they call him Captain Marvel at all in the movie?
I doubt it.
Probably not.
I'm sure they don't want to. Yeah, I think that in the trailer, the little nod to him being a captain is when in the trailer they call him Captain Sparkle Fingers. His friend's like, yeah, his name's Captain Sparkle Fingers. And I find that part in the trailer so funny because he's like, no, but that's not my name. That's not my name. But he can't say my name's Shazam because if he does, he'll change back into a 15-year-old kid. So it's like his friend's I feel like his friend's messing with him, knowing that he can't correct him and say his correct name because then he'd change back. It looks like that movie looks like it's going to be so good. I cannot wait for Shazam. It looks hilarious.
I heard that it's calling back the Goonies, Big, Ghostbusters. It's supposed to be fantastic, and I'm excited because I love Zachary Levi.
Me too.
Can you imagine if Shazam had the intersect?
Right? Guys, I know Kung Fu.
That would be a movie.
But let's talk about the Captain Marvel that did release this last week.
Yes, let's talk about Brie Larson and the controversy, I guess, which I found really annoying that there had to be a controversy there. But it's the internet. Someone's always mad about something. So let's just talk about Captain Marvel. Do we want to do like last time where we do no spoilers at first, or do we want to just jump right into spoilers?
No, let's do spoilers.
All right.
Okay. Wait, ask the people that are listening to us right now. What are they
saying? I think we've got the Grizzled Geek and a couple others.
So Mike is listening to us on the thing, but he's not on with us. Why is he not on here?
I don't know. We should have invited him. I guess we need to invite him.
Let's invite him right now. Ask him if he wants to come on.
If you want to, man, you want to come on? We'll add you to the hangout.
So I think we go into spoiler mode because I think that if you haven't seen it yet, that you're not a true fan, anyways. But no, I'm just kidding.
Or you're busy.
Yeah, people have
shoot, man. You've got 4 kids. You understand being busy.
I took my 3-month-old to the movies to watch that. Nothing was keeping me from watching it. And then I watched it and I said, nah, I could have waited for this.
All right, Mike said he's going to get his headset. I think he's going to join us.
All right, send him the link. So while we're waiting for Mike, what I will say is I love Brie Larson.
Hey, by the way, Mike, if you're still listening, actually, he went to get his headset. I'm just going to send him a link on Facebook.
So I love Brie Larson. She won an Oscar for this movie called Room, which is a fantastic movie.
It was very good.
She's been in a lot of things that I love. When she got cast, I was a little disappointed because I really wanted, speaking of Chuck, Yvonne Strahovski to be Captain Marvel. That didn't happen, obviously. So they cast her, and it took me a little while to be okay with it, because I thought she had the acting ability to pull it off. After watching it, I was just kind of let down. I felt like the action scenes were really cool. I felt like, there's Mike. How you doing, buddy?
How's it going?
Hey, welcome, Mike. Welcome.
So, Mike with the Grizzled Geek just joined us, and I don't know if Mike, if you were listening to what I was having to say about the movie.
Yes.
Do you share my sentiment? Was it kind of underwhelming?
Well, we rated it. We gave it a B-. I think it was enough nostalgia that I enjoyed the movie, but it was not as good as, for an origin film for Marvel, it wasn't as good as some of the others.
I agree.
I
think B- is good. Like our site, Sam the Movie Mechanic, rated it and gave it a 3 out of 5. I would give it 3.5 out of 5, but not better than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like it had certain things that were good about it and then certain things that were awful about it. And so like the good things kind of had to like drag along the terrible elements of it.
So I want to hear what you think the terrible is, because I think I disagree with you guys based on your Facebook comments earlier.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, I really wanted Brie Larson to do well in the movie, and I defended her a lot online, just saying, hey, give her a chance, like, Marvel's done a great job casting, people say she's a great actress, like, and the previews didn't show us a lot. And then I watched it, and I was like, she did not do well. Like, at least for the first, like, half to 3/4 of the movie, I felt like she looked and sounded like she was just like monotone reading off of a teleprompter. Like sometimes I was like, what are you even looking at? Like, who are you talking to? It was really just not good.
Brie Larson, you're saying you didn't think was good?
Yeah, Brie Larson, and she just did not do well. Like, and there were a few parts where I thought that her character did come to life a little bit, and like she was pretty genuine. But like for most of the movie, that wasn't the case, and it was bad. And like for example, the part where she has those things on her hands, and she can't shoot her beams, and she's yeah, and she's like got all those guys coming at her, and she's like, you guys know how to get these off? No? Okay. Like, it was
I thought that was funny. I liked that.
That was the worst thing. Oh my gosh. She was so just like, I mean, it could have been a funny line, but like she was just like dead in the face and like
Yeah.
Like had like no tone in her voice. It was awful. It was I made a comparison to her on one of my comments about the Clear Eyes guy. Like if you're jumping back to the 90s, like that's the Clear Eyes guy saying wow, like that.
Wow.
That guy, I mean, was pretty close to Brie Larson, I felt like, in that movie. It was just
I didn't think
why can't I remember that guy's name? Why can't I remember the Clear Eyes guy's name?
Ben
Isn't
Stein.
He the same?
Ben Stein. Thanks,
yeah,
Mike.
there you go.
Isn't he also the Bueller?
Bueller.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bueller.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And
He used to have a game show called Win Ben Stein's Money.
Yes.
And where he was his deadpan is by far the best deadpan I've ever seen in my life. Like he is just fantastic. But yes, you're right, Tyler. He's Ben Stein, but without the humor aspect.
Man, I didn't think she was that bad. I thought she was funny, and I thought she was good. I don't know. I liked her in the role. She could have been better, but
yeah, I think that she's one of the weaker kings, unfortunately.
But that's her character, though.
Captain
Marvel's very stoic. She's not the slapstick, wisecracking superhero type person.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I mean, she's very.
No, I mean, she could have done with a little more charisma than what she showed, but I don't think that was my biggest problem with the movie.
So what was your
biggest problem?
My biggest problem was there was no threat at any time. Even before she unlocked her full potential, she was captured twice, escaped on her own both times, right? Those scrolls were no match for her, right? And then by the time there was any kind of something that could challenge her, she was full Super Saiyan and nothing. There was no sense of threat or urgency as far as
I agree.
That was my biggest problem with it. Now, when you got a character that powerful, I mean, you look at like Thor, you have to throw up him against some super crazy, powerful thing. But I mean, there was no real. I don't know. Even if you don't throw up against something powerful, I mean, challengers in some way,
Well, and
I agree. Go ahead.
Well, she was like so powerful that like she would have made a Super Saiyan look silly. Going back to your Super Saiyan comment.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous how like she just belly flops through a fighter ship and just goes, like what?
All while sporting a mohawk.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I just cite a very weird inconsistency there? She had to wear that like space mask that gave her the mohawk at that part, but then at the end of the movie, all of a sudden she doesn't need the space mask and she can just fly through space.
Yeah,
I thought about that too, and I'm wondering if it had anything to do with the removal of that thing on her neck, because she wasn't able to use her power to its full effect.
See, but the part where she had the mohawk part, that was already done. That thing was gone.
Well,
I think she didn't realize she was that powerful yet.
I think she created a shield around herself with the, with her energy, and that's probably what it was. But
fair enough.
I don't know. It's the
only time she was. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead.
I was going to say the only time she's that powerful in the comics is when she's binary, when she's like the Herald of Galactus, right?
Yeah.
Like never was she that powerful as Captain Marvel in the comics. So
yeah, but I wasn't surprised because Kevin Feige said she was going to be the most powerful character yet. So I kind of thought, like near the end of this movie, she seemed to be about as powerful as Thor has been in his last two appearances. I don't know, man. And I think she's just beginning to realize her potential, and her beginning potential is just as powerful as Thor. So her next potential is going to be crazy, is what it seems like.
Yeah, but I almost wonder if that's a detriment to the ability to put her in a good movie. Like,
yeah, I agree.
You don't want her to be too powerful because the best superheroes have weaknesses, and it doesn't seem like she has any.
Well, and she didn't. I agree with Mike what you were saying earlier, how there was like no threat. I was really hoping that with Ronan showing up, that she and Ronan would get into some kind of
thing.
But then he just leaves. That was a real big disappointment for me.
Yeah,
and he
she's
looked
standing
weird
there. She's standing there looking at his ship, and he's looking at her, and a good like 20 seconds passes by where she could have just like flown through it and destroyed it, but she doesn't, and he reverts back. And then you could pretty much say that Captain Marvel is to blame for all the crap that Ronan does later, because she could have killed him right there. Like,
good point. Good point.
Well, if you take that further, okay, so
Mike, did we lose you?
Well,
lose you guys?
No, I'm here.
Then the Guardians wouldn't have come about, in which case Chris Pratt would have never hit Thanos in the face.
Oh boy!
Oh my gosh! It comes full circle. Did anybody else think that this movie would have been a lot better if it was released like in Phase 2 or Phase 1?
No.
Yes, I think it would have.
I think it came too late.
Well, I think the quality of the movie is on par with the Phase 2 movies. I mean, you look at the run of movies we had before this, right? And they've just been really good since like Ragnarok, or even before. Yeah. So to get a mediocre movie, there's never been a bad one. I don't think there's any of the Marvel movies I thought were bad, but I think this, I don't know. I think it would have coming in where it did, because it's coming in between, I guess, Ant-Man and the Wasp. But
Ant-Man and the Wasp was just okay.
Yeah, it was just okay.
It seemed weird to follow up Infinity War with Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah, almost like it didn't belong.
Right.
I mean, it was good. I mean, I liked it. It just wasn't,
Oh, I loved Ant-Man and the Wasp, and Paul Rudd is one of my favorite actors in the MCU.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That movie is good when it stands on its own. It just seems weird when you watch it in the timeline that MCU has given you.
Yeah.
Well, I loved the end credit scene though when he gets stuck in the quantum realm. Like that was
it was fantastic. Dude.
That was cool, yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they all turned to dust. Like that made it come full circle. That was the best part of the movie, in my opinion. But
I was really hoping for some kind of dusting in Captain Marvel, but it didn't happen. But go ahead.
Did you guys stay for the end credits?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Didn't it seem like I don't know. I saw lots of people getting up and leaving. I don't know. But did it seem like so Captain America comes on, and then you see Don Cheadle and it's Don Cheadle, right? And Black Widow that are there. The three of them, right?
I think it's Falcon.
And Bruce Banner.
Yeah, Bruce Banner.
And Bruce Banner's there too, right? And they're looking at the pager, and the pager stops working, and she turns around and Captain Marvel's there, right?
Yeah.
Didn't it seem like her acting ability was not on par with the other four people that were in the room? Like, even in that moment, didn't it seem like she was on the outside?
It cheesy.
What's that?
It was cheesy, I thought. I thought it was real cheesy.
It just seemed like that they were putting together. Yeah, it was weird. It seemed out of place, and I don't know. Like, it would make sense if it was Thor or Vision, right? And because they kind of have this out of place demeanor to them. But Captain Marvel has, so you have to tell me she's known that she's been human for the last 30 years, close to 30 years, right? And now she's coming back and she doesn't even have that human element. Like, it just didn't seem like she was human. It seemed like she was just, I don't know. It, like in the beginning of this movie where she's kind of like awkward and weird and like because she doesn't have that human element, and then she starts to get a little bit more personable as the movie went on. And then it seemed like end credits that she was odd and weird again.
It did seem a little
off. I don't know. It was weird.
I don't know.
It was weird.
I thought it was cheesy, but I didn't think it was that.
I think they were trying to portray her as having like progressed over time into like a more powerful hero, who had like been through some stuff, but like it didn't come off super great.
My question is why didn't Nick Fury contact her in the first Avengers or during Ultron or during even when Thanos was originally there? Like, why? I don't know. It just seemed like there was a lot of opportunities to call her.
Yeah, that's the problem with this. That's the other problem with this movie is anytime you do a prequel or anything back in the past, any kind of time travel, anything like that, there's always the chance of messing up continuity or bringing up a bunch of questions. Like if Nick Fury lost his eye back then, why is he? And he was only like level 3 security level, then why does his damaged retina still work to unlock those files in Winter Soldier? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions that you can, you know what I mean? You have to jump through a lot of hoops. You can answer that, right? You can make, well, he had changed it or whatever. But I mean, there's a lot of hoops you got to jump through whenever you're going back in the past and laying things down like that. So that's the risk.
I didn't even think about that till you just said that's right. So he would have had to have full function of his eye way later into where he actually lost it because he had.
That was a plot point, was that they never erased his damaged retinas out of the security system because they didn't think to. But he was only level 3 clearance. It shows on his badge level 3 clearance back then.
Yeah. But wouldn't the retina scan rise up the ranks with him?
What happened? Why wouldn't it? If it did, why wouldn't it be erased with the other one?
I don't know. That's a good point.
But wouldn't it be reading his retina it was?
That's deep nerd stuff going on right there. But yeah,
yeah, it just seemed weird and it convoluted a lot of things, and I hope that Endgame doesn't suffer by her.
I was talking with Kelsey, my wife, about this earlier today, actually, and how a lot of movies do this, where the continuity gets messed up, and I just feel like you just have to accept that it's just a dumb comic book movie, and it's not going to be. Yeah, it's not always going to match, you know.
Dumb comic book movie. This is our life.
I don't want to be too negative about the movie because there were some good things about it. So I do want us to talk about the good things, but
I agree.
The other things that I really didn't like about the movie was partly.
I want to talk about the good things, but here's more stuff I didn't like.
Just before we get to that, here's my last thoughts about what was bad about it. So we were talking about the end credits scene not being great, and almost all the end credits scenes that we've seen from at least from the bigger Marvel movies, like the origin stories and stuff, have been twists, like Ant-Man, even the last Ant-Man had the quantum realm thing. Infinity War had the calling of Captain Marvel in the first place. There's always a twist, and then the movies aren't super super predictable usually. I felt like Captain Marvel, it was I predicted everything that was going to happen, every big plot.
So you predicted that the Skrulls were going to be good guys?
Yeah, because there's only two sides, right? And the Krell seemed totally sketchy and evil right from the beginning, they she goes and talks to people and they're the what do they call it? The thinker is not the thinker, it's the
Supreme Intelligence.
Supreme Intelligence, yeah. She goes and talks to the Supreme Intelligence and they're just you fight for us, but if you don't do it right, we can take away what we've given you. It's okay, you're bad guys. You're obviously bad guys, and there's only two sides, so obviously the other side is going to be the good guys.
Right. Yeah, I guess I didn't see that coming. I did think it was weird just from the original marketing that the Skrulls were going to be the bad guys, which in the comics the Skrulls are, but the Kree in the MCU so far have always been bad. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., there's a pretty big time period where they're bad. Ronan the Accuser, a Kree, bad. In Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and other times, the Kree are consistently bad guys. So when I saw the marketing for this and I was wait, she's a Kree, but she's good. What? I thought that was weird. And so I just kind of thought it was one's bad, one's badder. And so I guess I didn't see the Skrull thing coming. It was a nice surprise though, because Ben Mendelsohn, who is
Talos.
Talos or Talos, however you say his name.
Talos,
that actor is always a bad guy. Sheriff Nottingham, Ready Player One, Director Krennic in Rogue One, and I like him, but I was getting very tired of him because he's always the same exact role. So it was really nice seeing him as a good guy and more comedic and a family man. It was really refreshing.
Honestly,
I loved him.
He was great.
He was my favorite character in it. And I think that switch was the best part about the movie. They took a standard kind of a bland bad guy out of the comics because they're always just generic bad guys in the comics.
Right.
Except for a few special ones, but they're still bad. And they gave him, goals and, sympathy. And, I really like that switch. That's my favorite part about the movie.
Yeah, it was really funny, and how he was so afraid of the cat, and Nick Fury's like, "It's a cat. What are you afraid of?" And then at the end of the movie, when you realize that it's like this octopus monster thing, that was freaking hilarious. Goose was great.
Yeah, Goose.
I felt like it came too late though.
What, Goose?
Yeah,
I thought it made it funnier.
I don't know.
I don't know. I think I liked how they did it because it kind of like built it up and built it up and built it up, and you're like, when is this going to happen? Then it was just like super shocking how it was all the tentacles coming out. Like,
absolutely, it was like something from the Upside Down place.
Yeah,
Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk more about the positive things. But before we do, I do want to mention one thing from the post-credit scene that I am very confused by. Captain America had a beard, and in the Endgame trailer, he doesn't. When does this thing get shaved, and why?
That is true.
He looks so much better with a beard.
Yeah, he instantly becomes less credible when he shaves his beard.
Yeah.
Like, this is the guy that's going to save us? I don't think so.
Either needs the beard or the mask. One of the two. Either have the mask on or the beard.
So I'll start with some of my positives, which it sounds like just in general I liked the movie a little bit more than you guys. I wrote down quite a few notes. And this is a positive, but it's also a negative. Coulson was fun, but he was in it far less than I would have wanted.
Absolutely.
Right.
I agree.
I already said this, but Ronan was not in it nearly enough. I liked Jude Law. He was good, but his character was kind of meh. It's kind of bland.
Yeah, that was another thing. Like,
cheesy.
you totally knew she was going to shoot him at the end. Like, it was just like,
Yeah,
okay,
that was
super cheesy.
Well, yeah. But I really liked the part where she gets her powers and she's taking everyone down on that ship. I was just like, holy crap, that's badass. I was just like so into it. I really liked that scene.
Yeah, before she became like ultra superpowers, she was like still struggling to fight them a little bit, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And
she did become way OP, and I was like, well, this is kind of not interesting anymore.
Yeah. But I agree. Those fight scenes were really cool.
Yeah. And also, sorry, another little gripe. Sorry, guys. How did the little girl know how to operate alien tech to change the color scheme on Captain Marvel's outfit?
Yeah, that part. I'm like, when she's
just like doing alien tech. I'm like,
yeah, especially in the 90s. Like,
well, and it's like this touch screen that you move your fingers a certain way. It's like, how does this little girl know how to change the color scheme here? What's that's a nitpicky thing. I didn't really care that much, but I was thinking, this is advanced alien tech. How does she know what she's doing?
Yeah, back when they had
technology and she's young. Same way we could program our parents' VCRs.
Same way my kids know how to use my iPad better than I do.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of VCRs, I also enjoyed some of the 90s nostalgia. The music that they kept bringing in, Blockbuster.
The music was awesome.
The Mallrats thing.
That was
if you guys didn't realize, Stan Lee was actually reading his lines from the cameo he does in Mallrats that was in 1995.
That's a goof. That's a goof too, because so that whole timeline is happening in June, right?
Yeah.
And Mallrats was filmed that year, but in March through April.
Oh, really?
So he would have already filmed his lines by that time, by the summer.
But you're missing the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Stan Lee exists as himself in the Marvel Universe, and he has a line in Mallrats where it says he created the Hulk and Spider-Man.
That's true. That's true. That's true. No,
I did not realize this, guys. That's cool.
I didn't realize it either. I saw it on the internet later, and then I was like, oh, that'd be a good thing to kind of bring up tonight.
Have you guys have both seen Mallrats, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I've seen the cameo. But
that's one of Jason Lee's, like, it's Jason Lee, right, Mike?
Yeah, Jason Lee. That's his best. Yeah.
That's his best role, man. Yeah. I love that movie. But, yeah, can I say the beginning, what would you call that? The crawl that they have, the Marvel Studios crawl in the beginning where it was all Stan Lee images?
Yeah.
Was absolutely fantastic. I do have one nitpicking thing to say about that, though. I kept thinking that they were going to do Marvel Studios and put the house that Stan built at the bottom of it. And I was kind of let down that they didn't say that, but all in all, like it kind of brought a tear to my eye. Like it was
Oh,
fantastic.
yeah, everybody in the theater cheered at that part.
Yeah, the theater I was in, all clapped.
Yeah, nobody did that in mine. It was weird.
No one clapped in mine
fantastic.
either. In fact, I was actually looking down because I was like, "Oh, the movie's starting," and I don't remember what I was looking down at. Maybe like my popcorn or something. I don't know. And Kelsey, like my wife, starts tapping me. Max, look. You know, she noticed it. I'm like, "Oh crap! Why am I not watching this right now?" I thought it was really cool.
It was
really
fantastic.
Awesome.
Maybe it was because I stood up clapping and was staring at people until they did.
A slow clap.
Yeah.
But it was great. I just really wanted them to say the house that Stan built at the bottom. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Lance, what did you like about the movie?
The music was phenomenal. Like when she's kicking all those guys' butts on the ship and they're playing No Doubt, I was like, heck yeah, this is awesome. Like I loved everything about the music. I loved Nick Fury. I loved Agent Coulson. I loved Goose. I actually liked the little girl, Brie Larson. You know, we've had our issues with, but and her friend, I wasn't too big of a fan of either. But I liked everything as far as outside of those two castings is concerned, and I thought visually it was beautiful. I thought the special effects were really well done, and I thought that the nostalgia factor, like they did it the right amount. Like it wasn't too much of a nostalgia overload. You know, because then you get into the realm of kind of what Goldberg is. Have you seen the Goldbergs on TV?
Oh yeah,
like it's super nostalgia, and that's one thing I was kind of worried about. I didn't want them to do that, and I thought they did a right amount to get us excited about things. And yeah, they did really well.
Sorry, another great nostalgia moment is when they're going, they put that CD disc in the computer and it just starts loading.
My gosh, yeah, so funny.
And Captain Marvel's like, what's going on? Oh man, the whole theater was cracking up at
Which, you know, I had computers back then. I don't remember like an audio file from a CD taking that long to load. Did that seem a little fabricated?
No,
I don't know. It might have been downloading it.
Yeah.
CDs took that long? I don't even remember that. Like, I thought you put a CD in.
Or the part where she's at the internet cafe and she's like Googling and it tells her she has to redial. You know, Google didn't exist, but she's doing the internet. Oh, that stuff just cracked me up.
I thought they were going to do the America Online sounds, you know, the like.
Right. You can hear the dial-up sounds in the background as somebody else was trying to get online. They are playing that, but by far the best part of the movie was the music. I mean, Marvel has not done music really well. They did it well in Ragnarok and the Guardians of the Galaxy's movies, but that's about it. And
Infinity War was great.
Nice change. Oh, they did do Infinity War really well, but
Black Panther won for that. Black Panther won for music for an Oscar.
Yeah.
I don't think that it deserved an Oscar, but I thought the music in Black Panther was very, very good. I just think recently they've improved their music game.
They have, but it was good to see this. That wasn't like oldies music or something like that. Like, I guess is 90s considered oldies now?
But
it's classic. I mean, I think to be considered classic, it's supposed to be 20 years old.
Is that the
so it's not oldies
requirement?
Yet. I don't even think 80s are considered oldies yet. But stuff from the 60s and 70s, I think, is starting to be considered oldies. Whereas when we grew up, it had to be from like the 50s.
Yeah.
I think oldies is 50 years. This is a very important topic. Let's not move off of this.
But there were things I liked about the movie, and I will go see it again. I'm thinking about taking my son to go see it.
Wait until I'm in town. Maybe we can go together.
Yeah, that'd be nice. But I mean, I know that in the beginning of our conversation about this, like we kind of just like rallied against the movie. I don't want anybody to think that I hated it, because I didn't. It just was not as good as it could have been. It was still better than Iron Man 2.
That's not saying too much.
Yeah. Is that the bar?
Right. That is the bar right there. Iron Man 2 and the first Thor. Like, it was still a better origin story than the first Thor, in my opinion. But I think that it could have been alongside, like at that same time that the first Thor was out, it would fit in nicely right there. It just didn't feel like the appropriate place to put an origin story right before their biggest movie of the entire franchise. 2 months before the biggest movie of the culmination of 11 years now of movies. Like, it just didn't feel like the appropriate place to put this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really liked it. Go ahead, Tyler.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from, but I didn't really have an issue with it coming out now either, because it was obviously set up for Infinity War Endgame, and that works for me. It wasn't as big of an issue for me. I think that it kind of helps with the theorizing of what's going to happen, because people are like, hey, Captain Marvel's going to come into it, and that adds another element, like how are they beating Thanos, and a lot of the cool aspects about these movies is the talk in between the movies, like what's going to happen, why, who's going to do what, what is Doctor Strange's overarching plan, so
that's why they're so good.
Yeah. I mean, I felt like it contributed to that, and so I can see how you would have preferred it coming out before, but I didn't have a problem with it coming out now.
Yeah, I felt like it would have been a lot better in the time slot that Ant-Man took, like maybe a couple months after, and put a little bit of more distance in between this and Endgame. But then, of course, I don't know where you put Ant-Man. But
I just think that's
felt
the tough
weird.
thing. That's the tough thing with what happened in Infinity War. Marvel wanted, another couple movies to come out after it. What else could you have put there? You had Ant-Man, and then what else? So like having this prequel movie, I think made sense where it went. And I really liked it. I don't know. I had some issues with it, but you guys are a lot more critical of it than I am. I really liked it. What did you think, Mike? Yeah.
Well, like I said, I gave it I gave it a B plus. It ended up with a B minus between the three of us, but I know I really enjoyed it. Like I said, all the same things. Like the music was amazing. The nostalgia was right on. There was just the right amount of it, like you said. Again, I like the fact that Nick Fury, it was like a buddy cop with Nick Fury. He was in it a lot more than I expected. So I like that. I like the cat. I like, but I think Ben Mendelsohn was he was my favorite. I love the fact that
he was the high point.
He was the high point for me. Yeah, me as well. So I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed the switch. This was how to subvert expectations correctly with this movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the switch they did on us. And I mean, other than there was, like I said, I had a few issues with it. I think even with everything else, I think if there was some kind of threat to the main character in it, I think I would have enjoyed it a lot more. I would have been able to rate this a lot higher. I think for me that was the big one. But
no, you're absolutely right. There was no threat.
Yeah. Other than that, I really enjoyed it. So I mean, I'm going back to see it again.
Personally, I thought that we already talked about Talos, however you say his name.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Lance, Nick Fury. I thought, I'm not even a huge Samuel L. Jackson fan. I like him as Glass, but in a lot of things I don't really like his character. Which I might be in the minority on that, but I really like him as Fury. And I felt like the relationships that he had through the movie were a lot better than Captain Marvel's, his relationship with Coulson, his him with his boss, and when they called him Nick, and then his relationship with Goose, he was very personable and he was really likable, and the fact that he was in the movie as much as he was really helped carry the movie. I felt like
it was really fun seeing so much Nick Fury.
Yes,
well, this was the first movie where he was actually a main character, right? I mean, I don't think he was ever like that in the
It's always been like this shadow in the background, and I feel like fans have always wanted to see more Nick Fury, and they finally did it, you know? And that was a really good part about the movie.
Yeah, it kind of felt like a buddy cop movie in some ways.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I really like that.
Can we mention the scene where he checks out the alien junk?
Yeah, that was funny.
Definitely a highlight.
Yeah,
that was really good.
I would have liked to see more Coulson though. Like,
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
Everybody likes Coulson. I don't know why you would not. I mean, yeah. I mean, I was even hoping, because I saw photos of the red carpet thing, and like Ming-Na Wen was like a huge part of it, and I was hoping that she was even gonna make an appearance, but
I think that's gonna happen sooner than later. I think that now that Disney Plus is coming out and they're making all these TV shows, and Kevin Feige's getting more into the series type stuff, I would not be surprised to eventually see Kevin Feige take over Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I think everybody wants to see Daisy and Agent May.
S.H.I.E.L.D. done. This is the last season.
Yeah, once the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is done, and then Ron and Perlmutter's not in charge of it anymore, and any Kevin Feige's in charge of Disney Plus, all the Marvel shows on that. Once they can come over and get away from Ron Perlmutter, then I think we'll see a lot more of it, because he's the one that's preventing all that.
Agreed.
Well, him and Kevin Feige just don't like each other, apparently.
Right. Yeah.
And Bob Iger really did a disservice by separating those two and not just giving it all to Kevin Feige. I mean, that was a major disservice, a poor business decision.
I agree.
But I think that you could take Daisy and Agent May and Fitzsimmons, especially Fitzsimmons, and maybe put them in one of these Disney Plus shows and maybe have Kevin Feige kind of take it, because
do a new show.
All four of those people are fantastically casted. I don't really need Mac in anything.
Nobody does. I don't know why he's still around.
He's the leader now.
It seems like they keep trying to cram the idea down that he is a leader, and quite honestly, Agent May would have been a much better choice.
Maybe should be leading that team right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, or Daisy for that matter.
Yeah, either.
But
Daisy doesn't feel like a leader to me, but May, yes, absolutely.
Yes, yeah.
Because Daisy did lead them for like a few episodes, and I was like, she's bad at this.
Yeah, and she's too much of like an emotional lone wolf, like to be a leader. Like, I feel like,
Yeah. Well, do you guys have any other thoughts on Captain Marvel?
Just no.
Should go see it if you haven't. Anybody?
I agree. Go see it.
Yeah, go see it. Like, it's not a bad movie. Like, I want to be very cautious about saying this. It's not a bad movie.
But when you stack it against Thor Ragnarok and Infinity War, it's
exactly.
Yeah, when you're talking about 22 movies that they've come out with, this is the 22nd or 23rd. Exactly. When you put it against 23 other movies or whatever, it's not as good as some of the best of what we've seen, but it's still not the worst of what we've seen.
Yeah.
It's still a good movie. It's breaking box office records right now, amazingly.
Yeah.
It's going to be a huge movie. They're going to make a sequel of it, and Brie Larson is our Captain Marvel into the future.
Yeah.
But go see it if you haven't seen it. Now I would like do you have another topic after this, Max?
No, but I did have a question before we wrap up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that question is this. So far this year, I can only think of like two really big blockbusters that have come out, Alita and Captain Marvel. Has there been anything else?
No, but I would like to say, if you're not going to see Captain Marvel, go see Alita.
Go see Alita.
Yeah, what I was going to ask is, which one did you like better?
Alita.
All right. It's a unanimous. Yeah, Alita was better.
Alita was fantastic, man. And there was even really some eyebrow-raising moments in Alita, but Alita was fantastic. In fact, I'm ashamed that I did not go see it sooner. Like, it did not get me excited the way it should have got me excited.
The trailers didn't portray it well.
No, the promotion behind it
did not do it justice.
No, not at all. Especially for it being a James Cameron movie, they should have put more weight behind it.
Yeah.
But it was fantastic. I can't wait for the sequel. They are going to make a sequel, right?
I think it did well enough financially.
It's still about 100. It's still about because it took so long in production and everything. It still needs about another 80 to 100 million to break even.
Really?
Yeah,
oh, man,
about 490, I believe, was the break-even point.
But it's killing. It's killing internationally, right?
Like yeah, it is. But it's still there. It's about what is about. Last week it was 3. Going into this week it was 340 total, and then Captain Marvel hit this weekend. So I don't know how much of a chunk that's going to take out.
Oh yeah, Captain Marvel is going to take a huge chunk out of that audience.
So I mean, it's got a long road to hope, but it's got good word of mouth. So we'll see.
Is that the 2 big ones that have come out this year? Nothing else has come out?
I can't think of anything. I mean, How to Train Your Dragon, but I don't know that I'd count that.
How to Train Your Dragon. I hear it is huge.
I hear it's really good.
My sister won't shut up about that movie. But so far it's been a good box office year, I would say. Like you've had 3, movies that have done pretty well.
Oh, Glass was another one.
Oh yeah, Glass.
Glass was big.
Glass came out in December. Didn't it?
No, that was January.
January.
Was it?
Yeah. I would say Alita's been my favorite of the year so far.
Yes.
And then probably Glass and then Captain Marvel.
Yeah, it's hard for me to say because I really liked Glass. Glass was great.
Glass was good. It just wasn't as good as Split. Or
I disagree about that. I really liked Glass. But I can see your opinion on that. But me personally, I liked Glass more. But
I put it number 2. I go Unbreakable, Glass, Split.
Oh, I thought Split was so good. Unbreakable
Split was good. But Unbreakable's a classic, though. I mean, as far as that was the heyday.
Yeah, Unbreakable is just good. It's one of my favorite Bruce Willis movies. But Mac, before we end, because I think we still got a couple more minutes, right?
Yeah, we have time.
What do you see happening from this movie to Endgame? Does anybody have any theories of how Captain Marvel is going to play into Endgame? Or Ant-Man for that instance?
Well, I think that there might be something with Doctor Strange using the quantum realm somehow and having like sent the time stone through time, and they might go and pick it up in another time, so that there's like 2 time stones. It ends up being 2 time stones.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah. So I feel like there might be something there, and then how Captain Marvel comes into play is I feel like there might be something because I talked about this with Max. Like I feel like there isn't enough threat at this point. If the gauntlet is all jacked up and Thanos is just by himself, he's not enough threat by himself.
He's still got the gems, though. I mean, he's still got the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, it depends on how they use it. It depends on how they use it, but it's I feel like they might bring back what's her name from Ragnarok?
Hela.
Yeah, they'll bring back Hela, and she will fight alongside Thanos, and they'll need Captain Marvel to fight them. Is kind of what I'm feeling like.
So you think Hela's going to come back?
Yeah,
I think that
nobody knows that.
The issue that Captain Marvel in her movie had no threat. I think that Thanos with the gauntlet is very much a threat, and that's going to be a good fight. I'm not sure about the Hela thing. I think that'd be cool. I just don't see Hela teaming up with anybody. So I don't think that's going to happen. But I do think Thanos is still going to be really powerful with that Infinity Gauntlet, and Captain Marvel is going to be the turning force.
I think Captain Marvel is going to get weakened somehow. I think, her powers come from the Space Stone, and Thanos has the Space Stone. Right?
No, that's true.
So, I mean, I have a feeling they're going to weaken her down a little bit here because, I mean, she's, especially from the end of that movie, I'm like, wow, her going into Infinity War. I mean, like some of the other guys would be like, why am I here? But,
yeah,
right.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, he has the item that gave her power. So he should be more powerful than her.
Yeah, and with that item, he could probably take it away. I mean, or at least weaken her a little bit with it.
Yeah, I think he'd have to know that she, her power comes from that. But yeah, that's a good point. I didn't think about that. See, this is why we have Mike.
I didn't think about that either.
Well, I think that they might have. I think that Hela and Thanos might work together only because she is going to have a vendetta against Thor. So she's going to want to take out Thor, because what does she have left? Like her or Thor, like almost all the Asgardians are dead. The planet's destroyed. Like basically all she has left is her hate of Thor at this point.
Yeah, but she's also going to be a lot weaker because there's no Asgard. She draws her power from Asgard, and with Asgard destroyed.
That's what I said about Thor, but he's he's more powerful than he was before, I feel like.
True, but I think his power comes from inside, and I think hers was tied to the...
Well, they said that Thor's was tied to Asgard. So, I mean, they kind of said the same thing. So, I don't really understand all that.
I think something very, very crazy is going to happen. I think Thanos is going to come out. Maybe. I think Thanos is going to come out onto the field ready to snap again. And Korg is going to come out and say, hey, want to play a little game of rock, paper, scissors? And he's going to rock, paper, scissors for the fate of the universe.
It's as good a theory as any, I guess.
Awesome. I think that marks us to a perfect point to end the show. Let's end on a high note.
Sounds good. Maybe next time
you hear that Korg is the savior of the universe.
Yeah, and maybe next time we can talk a little bit about Umbrella Academy, because we haven't had time. Hadn't had time to talk about that.
Show's so good.
So good.
It was good. It was good. I think I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. So I loved it. Well,
love me some My Chemical Romance.
Well, Mike, do you remember how we do our outro?
I think so.
We do the Nerds, Dorks, Geeks Unite. Before that, we're going to do our little plugs, though. And since you joined us, may as well let you plug. So go ahead and let's hear from you first. Do you have anything you want to say to our listeners?
I will say that we just put up our review of Captain Marvel, so that's on the Grizzled Geek channel. And also, if you're into gaming, you can check out our game channel, the Grizzled War Master, where we just played through the new role-playing game Justice Velocity that's up on Kickstarter right now. So
nice. And that's on YouTube, in case you guys weren't here when we had the Grizzled Geek on as guests before. Yep. They're on YouTube, so check them out. You got the Grizzled Geek. They make some real cool content. Real into anime, too. And we're developing more of an anime audience, so they may enjoy your guys' Ruby Reactions.
Oh, yeah.
We got a cool agreement with Viz Media and reading lots of their manga and stuff like that. So
sweet.
Yeah. But yeah, so as far as the Couch Crunchers are concerned, check us out on couchcrunchers.com. Again, listen to us here. We're on any of the podcast services you listen to. And please give us a review on Google, iTunes, any of those. Leave us a review. Like Tyler said last time, though, if it's negative, we are IGN.com. But I do have something to say. Review, couchcrunchers.com. Yeah, go ahead, Lance.
Yes. I am going to be on the Absolute Geek podcast on the 15th with Matt and Kyle and those guys over there. They've invited me on. So be sure to check me out next week on the Absolute Geek podcast.
Will do.
Awesome.
They're on Fridays, right? Like at 7 they start streaming?
Fridays. Yeah, they told me the 15th. So I think at 7 o'clock. And then we'll put a link to it on our Couch Crunchers Facebook page. Nice. So everybody can check it out.
I'll be camping, so I won't be able to tune in live, but I'll definitely listen to the episode. All right.
Yeah, but that should be a fun time.
And also, just please like Couch Crunchers on Facebook, on YouTube as well. Yeah, Twitter, Instagram. If you guys like what we do, please share it out. We really want to, grow this page and get some more followers. We like what we do, and we want to share it with more people. Also,
and like the Grizzled Geek too.
Yes, agreed. Like the Grizzled Geek. Thanks so much for coming on. That was real fun having you in the chat. And then,
no problem.
Great idea from Lance to have you just jump on real quick.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.
Yeah, next time I'll remember to have my camera on.
All right, indeed. So
yeah,
Max, I'll let you.
Yeah, let's. You want to say nerds?
Yeah, Lance? I got it.
And so, then Tyler.
Oh, are we doing it?
Tyler will say dorks. Mike, you can say geeks.
Geeks. I think I can do that one.
And then we'll all say unite. All right, you
Okay.
ready?
Yeah. Nerds.
Dorks.
Geeks.
Unite.
Unite.